Jensen Huang has built NVIDIA into one of the biggest companies in the world. But how does he structure his days, manage his time, and lead a company at that scale? In this video, I'm going to be answering all of those questions and more as I break down his routines, his time management practices, and leadership approaches, along with what you can learn from them and also what may not work for you. If you're new here, though, my name's Byron Morris, and I'm the author of The Effective CEO 2.0. And on my channel, I put out videos on everything from mindset to leadership and becoming more effective in your role. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss future videos. So let's dive in. Jensen starts his day at 5 a.m. where he reads in bed for an hour before exercising. He then has a healthy breakfast and reviews his day where he goes through everything from his plan to his meetings and everything else he's got on. This allows him to really prioritize his tasks based on their strategic importance, and he then spends the next few hours working on his high priority top level work before he goes into the office. Doing so ensures that even if his day becomes chaotic or overrun by firefighting, he's still getting his key priorities done. One really unique thing about his leadership is he doesn't schedule one-to-ones. Instead, he prefers to communicate key messages to everyone at once because he believes that by doing so, it allows for more transparency, problem solving, and a shared learning. And this makes sense because with 55 direct reports, there's no way he'd be able to fit everyone in. So instead, by keeping his schedule flexible, that's how he can ensure he's available as and when people need him directly. And despite running such a big company, one of the ways he keeps his finger on the pulse is by eating most of his meals in the cafeteria so he can stay connected to his employees. Then at the end of each day, he takes some time to reflect. He looks at their biggest wins, what current challenges they have, and he figures out what needs to be done next. Based on how he spends his time, there are three big lessons that you can take away to help you become more effective in your role, along with one thing that I'd be cautious about replicating yourself. So let's break down the big lessons first. The first one is that he treats planning as a non-negotiable. You'd be amazed how many CEOs and leaders I speak to who tell me that they're too busy to slow down and plan. And I get it, when you're running a company, there's always a million different things that need your attention. And with so many competing priorities, it can feel like there's never enough minutes in the day to get everything done. But if you're working a 40+ hour week or a 10-hour plus day, do you really not have 15 minutes to stop and think about how you're going to be spending that time? Because what you put into planning is going to directly guide your focus and everything that you get done. I have a load of videos on my channel that go through effective planning, and I'll link them in the description below. But I want to give you 3 tips that'll help you take back control of your days. The first is to get clear on your key priorities. The way I advise to do this is to take a moment to really think about what are your goals and targets? What is it you're trying to accomplish? Because knowing that, you can then reverse engineer the day. Stop and ask yourself, what do I need to get done by 5 p.m. or whatever time you want to finish for today to be a success? That's going to help you really figure out what you need to move forward. Then, knowing that, go through and audit everything you're taking on. Go through your to-do list, your calendar, your diary, everything that you're committed to, and really be brutally honest with yourself. Does getting this done get you closer to your goals and targets, or is it a distraction or waste of time? Is this something that needs to be done by you, or could it be delegated to someone else? The few minutes you spend here could save you hours every single day, which is then going to free you up to do more of what actually matters. And then once you know your priorities and you've freed yourself up from everything that's not a good use of your time, look at where you have available time and then schedule your key tasks accordingly. Spend a few minutes on this every morning, and it's going to transform what you get done in a day. Lesson number 2 is doing your high value work first thing in the morning before you go into anything else. This is one of my favorite things that Jensen does, and I talk about this extensively in my book, The Effective CEO 2.0, because one of the biggest frustrations I hear from the people that I speak to is despite being busy, they're not getting round to the things that actually drive growth, and instead their days are getting overrun by firefighting, solving other people's problems, and dealing with never-ending demands. And that's why I found the best way to avoid this is to block off the first couple of hours of the day where you just focus on your high value work. By defending that time and getting these key tasks done first and only then going into the rest of your day, then you put yourself in a situation where even if you get completely derailed, you know your biggest priorities have been moved forward. As for what to do with this time, you firstly need to figure out what are your goals and targets, what can only be done by you, and where does your time have the greatest impact. That's going to help you get really clear on what are the things that you have to move forward. You can then look at that workload and be honest with yourself, based on this, how much time do I need in order to get this done? To keep it simple, let's say it's 10 hours a week or 2 hours a day. So knowing that, you could then block up your schedule from say 8 until 10, where you go in, you focus on your high value work, you get that done, and only then do you check your email, do you take meetings, or allow yourself to get pulled into anything else. By doing so, that's how you're going to ensure that you're not getting stuck in the weeds, and it's going to make it easier for you to balance your long-term priorities that drive growth with everyday short-term problems. Lesson number 3 is taking some time to reflect. Most people are so busy that their focus is just on trying to get through the day, where they rarely stop to think about what they did. This is a huge problem because the reality is what you went through is your greatest opportunity for growth. The reason being is it's filled with lessons about what you did, how to improve, and what you could do better in the future. And this is why I highly advise taking a few minutes at the end of every day to look back over what happened. Think about what went right, what went wrong, what could you have done better, what would have allowed you to feel more in control, what you need to be more intentional about tomorrow. Doing so is going to get you out of a reactive state, so instead you can slow down, process problems, and figure out solutions to challenges. It will also help you avoid making similar mistakes in the future and give you the confidence that the next time you're in that situation, you're going to know how to handle it better. So those are the 3 biggest lessons you can take away from how Jensen approaches his day. There is one thing he does though, which may not be the best idea for everyone. You see, his workload and schedule is ruthless, and he talks about how he has the same routine 7 days a week. And with so much on his plate, one of the ways that he frees up time is by sacrificing sleep. And he often talks about how he has nights where he doesn't sleep more than 3 hours. Now, it's not my place to tell you what you should or shouldn't do with your life, and while this clearly works for him, one thing I found from working with clients in 18 different countries is the majority of people struggle with a lack of sleep, and it affects everything from their productivity to their focus and their overall state of health. This is why I'd always be cautious about advising anyone to follow this approach, because chances are you're going to be far better off by learning to listen to your body and figuring out what you need rather than burning yourself out or pushing yourself to the limit. So there you have it. There are the 3 biggest lessons you can learn from Jensen about how to manage your time and maximize what you get done. Just as a quick recap, the first was to take some time every single day to figure out your key priorities and properly plan your day. The second is to use the first few hours of your day to focus on your high value work and the things that actually drive growth. And the third is to take some time at the end of each day to process problems, reflect on what happened, and figure out what you need to do next. I'd love to know, what are your biggest takeaways from this video, and what are you going to start applying to help you become more effective in your role? Let me know in the comments below. Also, I'm going to turn this into a regular series where every week I'm going to take a different CEO and I'm going to break down everything from their routines to how they structure their day and their leadership approaches. So let me know in the comments below, who do you want me to cover next? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss future videos. I've been Byron Morrison, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.